Joe was a boy with dreams so big. His head was always up in the rig. He looked at the sky, so vast and wide, and wondered what was beyond its side. One night, he saw a shooting star. It twinkled and danced, so bizarre. Joe closed his eyes and made a wish. And then he felt a sudden swish. He was lifted high off the ground, past stars and planets, all around. Joe held on tight and let out a whoop. He knew this adventure would make him loop. Higher and higher they went. Joe's heart racing, oh so bent. The space frogs smiled and showed the way. Joe knew he was in for a memorable day. Suddenly, they stopped and landed. Joe looked around, so enchanted. He couldn't believe what he saw. A new world, so full of awe. Joe had never seen such friendly beings. They chatted and laughed and shared their things. The space frogs were kind and so polite. Joe felt like he had found his light. They showed him around their home. Joe felt like he was free to roam. He saw things he never thought he would, and felt like he was in a new neighborhood. They offered him a ride on their spacecraft pool. Joe accepted, feeling like a fool. He was scared but so excited. Joe knew he had to be united. With the space frogs by his side, Joe felt like he could take on the ride. They soared through the stars so bright, and Joe felt like he was in a new height. But not all creatures were friendly and kind. Joe encountered some pirates, oh how blind. They wanted to capture and take him away. But Joe was clever and managed to sway. He tricked the pirates and ran away. Back to the space frogs, oh so gay. They cheered and hugged him tight. Joe knew everything was going to be all right. The space pirates were not done yet. Joe knew he had to be set. He joined forces with the space frogs, and together they fought like dogs. The pirates retreated and went away. Joe knew he had saved the day. The space frogs cheered and celebrated. Joe knew he was never going to be sedated. As Joe continued his journey, so wild, he came across a planet, oh so mild. But everything was backwards, oh how strange. He had to be careful not to fall off the range. The sun rose in the west and set in the east. Joe had to remember to turn the beast. He met an alien who helped him out, and soon he was back on his route. The alien showed him how to walk, and talked to him with a backwards talk. Joe had to think in reverse, but he knew it could only get worse. The backwards planet was so confusing. Joe knew he had to keep moving. He met some creatures, oh so odd, and knew that this journey was his reward. Next, he landed on a candy land, where everything was sweet and grand. He met some aliens who loved to dance. Joe joined in, and he had a chance. They gave him some candy, oh so bright, and taught him their moves, day and night. Joe felt like he was in a dream, but he knew it was real, oh so supreme. The candy planet was so much fun. Joe knew he couldn't be outdone. He danced and laughed and had a blast, and knew that this adventure was his task. But soon it was time to say goodbye. Joe hugged the aliens and let out a sigh. He knew he had to keep going. His adventure wasn't over, oh so glowing. Joe's journey had taken him far, through galaxies and distant stars. He had seen things he never thought he'd see, and met creatures that filled him with glee. But now, it was time to head back home, to the familiar streets where he used to roam. He bid farewell to the space frogs and more, and knew he'd remember this adventure forevermore. As he soared through the final frontier, Joe thought about all he held dear. He knew that his heart had grown, and that he was ready to face the unknown. The shooting star appeared once again, and Joe knew his adventure had come to an end. But he smiled, feeling grateful and wise, for he had journeyed beyond the skies. the shooting star twinkled and faded away. But Joe knew it would always stay. A reminder of his journey so grand, and the adventure that had changed his land.